the first time that I decided I really wanted to live, like really, really wanted to live, I was 125 metres above the ground, walking along a flimsy wooden plank, supposedly about to jump when I got to the end of it. And I was just thinking, how the hell did I get myself into this mess? And I don't want to be here, and I don't want to jump, and I do not want to die. And the only reason I was doing this was because I hadn't wanted to seem less fun in the eyes of somebody who wasn't even doing the jump and had decided that it was really a stupid idea. So yeah, there was that. When I first went to Berlin, I thought that I would just be visiting the wall, paying my respects, soaking up the atmosphere. I did not expect to be 125 metres up on top of a skyscraper about to base jump. When we made the decision, it was all a bit of a joke. We had to sign these waivers that basically said, bad things might happen, probably won't, but in case they do, please sign this form so your friends and relatives can't sue us. And we had a laugh. We were talking about our wills and who would actually benefit from our death, and it was just a bit of a joke. Until I was walking along this very flimsy wooden plank. And it was really cold up that high, and it was windy, and the plank was kind of moving. And by the time I got to the end, where I was supposed to jump, getting back across that plank just didn't seem likely either. And I was looking down, and the world looked really small, and my eyes started going really blurry, and the only thing I could see was this vision of me splattered out across the plats below in 1,000 zillion pieces, and yeah, that just, I didn't want to die. I wanted to live. And that came as a shock to me. Back then, it was about 5 years after the rape, and I was about as broken as I thought I could be. I'd fallen into the abyss and clambered up, and fallen again, and clambered up, and fallen again, so many times that I didn't know if I had it in me to clamber back up again. And the idea that I actually didn't want to die was new. It was really new. It occurred to me that I had never actually consciously decided to live, even before. I'd bought into the rhetoric of Carpe Diem of the Dead Poets back in my 20s when that film was like amazing. And I'd wanted to suck the marrow out of life, but I hadn't really believed it here. I hadn't really done it. I'd just drifted through life. And then, when my world totally splintered, and I didn't know who I was or what the world was, and I felt like I was in a zillion different pieces, and I actually did consciously want to die and think about it daily and go over the plan in my head in detail every single day as a sort of, almost like it was a soothing comfort that I knew that if I didn't have the strength, there was a way out. When I took too many pills, too many sleeping tablets, too many diazepam, got all the timings muddled up, and was probably quite lucky to actually wake up 18 hours later, I didn't mind, because we all have to die sometime, and life had shown itself to be pretty shit. So I was kind of apathetic about the whole concept of living. And then I was standing on this flimsy wooden plank, 125 metres above ground, supposed to jump, Not like, walking the plank and you're on a boat and it's like you're just a few feet down into the sea. This is 125 metres above ground. And suddenly I knew that I really did want to live. That realisation gave me the motivation I needed to really start to, rather than just hope to clamber up from the abyss, to actually gather all the pieces together that I needed to recover myself and to recover my life again. I was seeing a psychiatrist for the PTSD, and it was so counterintuitively mad, the process that we were going through. I had to want to walk into her office every week, consciously and purposefully and intentionally let myself go back to the time and the event and the place that I couldn't even properly remember because I'd been blacked out unconscious most of the time, and relive it, just so that I could reprogram my brain to be able to talk to you about it now. But knowing that I wanted to live gave me the motivation to do that, and that madness cured my madness. But I didn't feel myself yet. I didn't trust the cure. I'd been broken so many times and clambered back up so many times. How was I supposed to trust that this time it would work? Coincidentally, and because the universe tends to give you the things you need when you really need them, I'd decided that I wanted to become a coach. I'd started my own business and I wanted to be a coach. And the thing about coaching is it kind of makes you notice that your reality is your thoughts. How you think is turns into your reality. So I was waking up in bed going, oh, another day, I'm so sad, life is so shit, it's full of crap. And that's how I was feeling. And so by learning how to coach and learning the skills of NLP, I was able to start to reframe my thoughts and reprogram my daily scripts and what I was talking to myself about, almost in the same way that my psychiatrist had reprogrammed my trauma response. So I got my sense of self back, and I realised that I wasn't defined by this one event. It didn't need to be my whole life. I just could absorb it into the story and the narrative of my life. And now that I wanted to suck the marrow out of life, I struggled because I still didn't have the energy to suck the marrow. It's very hard to suck the marrow out of life when all you want to do in the afternoon is take a nap, isn't it? It really is. It kind of gets in the way a little bit. And the thing is, years of PTSD had really had an impact on my adrenal glands. My body was, any kind of excitement meant that I had to crash and sleep and recover. And it wasn't until, again, the universe put something in my way where I was at a retreat where we were supposed to be stepping into our inner animal and connecting to that power inside. And all these women were dancing like lions and tigers. I think one was a bird, she was flapping her wings. And I was stood there going, and I was like, well, I could try this. And my body wouldn't move. And literally, I was frozen, paralysed in one spot. And it just occurred to me, I hated my body. I was detached from my body. How could I be pushing myself back together if the thing that I was putting myself back together in was not me, was something other than me? I was detached and dissociated, and that's what happened during it. My mind had checked out and left my body to what was happening. My mind hadn't forgiven my body for what had happened to it, and actually also my body had not forgiven my mind for leaving it to it. I had to start to work on the forgiveness between my body and my mind so that together I could heal. So one of the things I did to become more, as I call it, bodyful, is to start to just simple things. I don't really like, as you might have gathered, diving in from the deep end, especially another 125 metres up high. I prefer to take the small steps from the shallow end. And So I started with just simply moisturising my skin. It was something I'd never paid attention to. I mean, I guess all you men in the room think us women do it all the time, not me. And so I started moisturising, but moisturising not just like slapping the lotion on, but really nourishing my skin, almost giving myself a little mini massage as I went. I started to take baths instead of showers, and not the kind of business bath where you're scrubbing at the hard skin on your feet, but the kind where you've got the music on that's really relaxing and you're using the essential oils. I started to think about nutrition and food in a whole different way. I used to just think about fuel. Food was fuel. It was just something to ingest so that you could keep moving. I started to think of food more as nutrition and replenishment for my glands, my adrenals that really just needed to be healed. So I started to actually prioritise my self-care and my body in a way that I'd never done before. I'd done what all the king's horses and all the king's men had failed to do. I'd worked out the formula for how to put Humpty back together again. And that formula is simple. We need to have control over our sanity. We need to reclaim our identities in ourselves. And we need to reconnect into our bodies. And so that's what I do now, because conventional therapy for rape survivors tends to really only focus on how we can regain control of our sanity. But we need the other elements too. And too many of us are forced to try to find out our own solutions and fashion our own recovery path. So what I do now is I help other rape survivors move from a half-life to living their full and reconnected life. Before I start, you're probably wondering, did I jump? And yes, I did. And I really wish I hadn't. I think that even walking back along the plank would have been better. I did not get that exhilarating thrill of adrenaline and pride that I'd done it and it was all great at the end. No. I thought that was the most hateful, horrible experience of my life. And I had almost ended my life doing it, and that had been a really stupid idea. And so what I'd like to invite you all to do is to look into your life and notice it. Be conscious about it. Be mindful about the sensations in your life. Be mindful about the experiences in your life. And be bodyful as well. Life is a gift, and I invite you to cherish yours and connect with it. Thank you.